You are listening to The Testimonial, a podcast of critical essays bearing witness to the forces that shape our world. We conduct historical autopsies, expose hidden systems, and decode the profound truths within history, society, culture, politics, and the seemingly whimsical. Each episode is a deep dive, a forensic investigation. This is the evidence. You are about to hear the testimony on the legacy of the bully, how your childhood bully grew up to design the systems you can't escape.
So, let's start with a question. I want you to think back for a second, back to the schoolyard. You can probably still picture it, can't you? And I bet you can picture that person, the one who just seemed to have mastered the art of intimidation. The story we tell ourselves is that they eventually get what's coming to them, that they flame out. But what if they don't?
What if, instead of just growing up, they graduated? What if they took all those traits, the need for control, the intimidation, that chilling lack of empathy, and realized, hey, these are actually skills in the adult world? The bully didn't vanish. No, they just put on a suit, they learned to code, they went to law school, and they started building the very systems that drive us crazy. The playground, it turns out, was just the beginning. It was a training ground.
To really wrap our heads around this, we need to pop the hood and look at the psychology behind it all. Because, it's so much more than just being mean. There's a very specific set of traits, almost like a blueprint for their personality.
In fact, modern psychology has identified what you might call a bully triad, 3 core characteristics that almost always show up together. And once you see this pattern, believe me, you'll start seeing it everywhere. It's a combination of instrumental aggression, a belief in social dominance, and a profound lack of something called affective empathy.
All right, first up, instrumental aggression. Think of it like this. This isn't a hot-headed, impulsive outburst. No, this is aggression that is cold. It's calculated. It's used as a tool to get something. For the kid on the playground, the goal is your lunch money. For the adult in the boardroom, the goal is that corner office or a hostile takeover. The aggression is just the quickest way from point A to point B. The second piece of the puzzle is what gives them the justification. It's a deep-seated belief that the world is supposed to be a hierarchy. You've got strong people at the top, weak people at the bottom, and that's just the natural order of things. So for them, cruelty isn't a moral failing. It's just them taking their rightful place in the pecking order. It's the right of the superior to dominate the inferior.
And this last one, this is the real kicker, a lack of affective empathy. And that distinction is so important. See, they might have cognitive empathy. They can look at you, see you're crying, and understand on an intellectual level, oh, my actions caused that. But they don't have the affective part. They can't feel your pain. It's like a missing wire. And that's what allows them to operate completely free of guilt.
Okay, so we've got this 3-part psychological blueprint. Now let's trace how that translates from the blacktop to the boardroom. How do these playground tactics get a professional makeover? It's almost a one-to-one translation, isn't it? Public shaming in the hallway becomes tough feedback in an open-plan office. Giving someone the silent treatment becomes creating a hostile work environment. Forming little cliques to control the social scene becomes building corporate in-groups and out-groups. And taking lunch money? Well, that just scales up into much more sophisticated and, frankly, legal ways of financial control.
It's really no surprise then, is it, that people with these personality traits are often drawn to and succeed in certain fields. We're talking about high-stakes professions where being ruthless isn't just tolerated, it's often rewarded. Now, this doesn't mean everyone in these jobs is a bully, of course not, but it does mean the structure of these professions can create a perfect ecosystem for that kind of behavior to thrive.
I mean, just think about the classic archetype of the micromanaging, terrifying boss. This isn't just a quirky personality flaw. It's the bully's blueprint made manifest in an org chart. We've all heard the stories about figures like Steve Jobs, celebrated as a genius, absolutely, but also known for a management style that ran on public humiliation and fear. His worst traits were often excused or even romanticized as just part of what made him great.
And if the corporate world is the playground with a bigger budget, then the political arena is the playground gone global. The political demagogue is really the ultimate evolution of the bully. The playbook is exactly the same, just on a massive scale. You divide the world into a simple us versus them. Use insults and mockery as strategic tools to assert dominance. And you display a shocking lack of empathy for anyone hurt by your words or policies.
But this is where things get really insidious. Because what happens when the bully isn't even a person anymore? What happens when the bullying becomes a process? This is where aggression gets automated, where it gets baked into the code of our bureaucracies.
This is the bully's final form, the systems designer, the architect of the websites, the policies, and the procedures that are designed to make you feel frustrated, helpless, and completely exhausted. They don't have to shout at you, because their logic is right there in the fine print. The aggression isn't a behavior anymore, it's a feature of the system itself.
A perfect and frankly heartbreaking example of this is dealing with health insurance. It so often feels like a system that was deliberately built to deny and demoralize you. You fill out the impossible forms. You get a denial letter that makes 0 sense. You try to appeal and you're thrown into this bureaucratic maze. Each step is a tactic, and the endgame seems to be to make it so difficult, so emotionally draining that you just give up.
And if you want this smoking gun, you just have to look at the language they use themselves. Take this one chilling little term, for example.
The medical loss ratio. Just think about that for a second. This is an official industry term that frames money spent on your healthcare as a financial loss for the company. It's not a bug in the system, it's the fundamental operating logic. It's a world where empathy has been completely engineered out, where paying for someone's cancer treatment is literally defined as a loss that needs to be minimized. So, the big question is, how does this all work? Why is this so successful, from the playground to the policymaking table? Well, it all hinges on a massive, dangerous cultural myth we've bought into about what it means to be strong.
See, we've been conned. We've been taught to look at the traits on the left, dominance, aggression, a lack of empathy, and mistake them for strength. We see a CEO who screams at his employees and we think, wow, he's a strong leader. But he's not. True strength, the kind that actually builds things that last, is everything on the right. It's collaboration, it's resilience, it's creating psychological safety for your team, it's accountability. We've been cheering for the villain thinking he was the hero.
The sandbox was never just a sandbox. It was a preview. And the choice we face is not whether to fight the bullies, but whether we are still willing to build the world they designed. You have been listening to The Testimonial on the legacy of the bully, how your childhood bully grew up to design the systems you can't escape. Follow us on social media @The Testimonial for updates and to join the conversation. If you believe a topic deserves a testimony, let us know.